Hi, my name's Jess, and in this video, I'll be talking through the development process for my project. So my project explores how traditional poster design can connect with interactive digital media. I wanted to find creative ways for users to engage with visual storytelling whilst learning something new. The project centers on the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. It's a story about love and loss, and to do this, I designed a series of posters that talk about the myth, and then it will be supported by the interactive 360 scene. During my research stage, my biggest inspiration was Hadestown, a musical that is based on Orpheus and Eurydice. The posters that they create are simple, but they have powerful color palettes. So they use black and it gives you the idea of death and the underworld, while red represents love and passion and heartbreak. And those colors help set the tone of the story before you even watch it. First thing that I did was create the posters, as they are the key point of this project. So I tried to create some with some illustrative designs and utilize the singular color use of just red. However, the design looked flat and it just didn't engage as well as it could have been. So after reflecting on it, I decided to change the direction and use photographic elements. So using Photoshop, I could manipulate the images and the textures um, to just make it more engaging for the viewer to look at. Into account that it will be a 360 scene and users can see all the posters in a circle, I decided to make the background either white, grey or black to kind of reflect how Orpheus would be feeling at that moment in time. So on the first picture on the left, it's quite bright and colourful, the colours are really saturated to show how happy he is. And then in the middle photo, his wife has died, so it's all black and it's the darkest moment of his life essentially. And then at the end of the story, you've got 1/3, which is white, and that's where Orpheus is to kind of symbolize that he left the underworld. And as he turned round, Eurydice wasn't out the underworld, so the other 2/3 is her going back into the underworld and Orpheus going back into that sad kind of state. So the technical side of the project involved combining different software tools and adapting to unexpected challenges. So I used Adobe Photoshop to create and edit the posters. I used Illustrator to create the vector layer and then also to have a look at the typography. And then for the 360 scene and the 3D objects, I used Blender and then I used Premiere Pro to assemble and finalize the video. My initial plan was to use 8th Wall and use image tracking. However, whilst creating and testing, I discovered that 8th Wall had issues with sharing public project links, which made it impossible to distribute or demonstrate the AR reliably. So after looking at alternatives, I decided to use Blender and produce a 360 video of the project. So once I exported the 360 scene from Blender to Premiere Pro and then put the video from Premiere Pro onto YouTube, one issue that I noticed on YouTube was the video compression, which reduced the image quality. So to help with this, I put in a little caption underneath the video advising users to increase the video quality in the setting if the scene looks too blurry. There were a few ethical things that needed to be considered, such as this story talks about death, so it had to be presented in a way that was still respectful to people and didn't upset anyone. Then the next thing was that this is part of somebody's culture, so it had to also be presented in a way that didn't upset anyone as well. And then another thing is accessibility. I wanted a format that everyone could try and interact with regardless of physical ability or equipment, and YouTube helped achieve that, as people who are bedbound or less mobile can still access a 360 experience without needing expensive headsets or specialist software. So when 8th Wall didn't work as planned, moving the project to YouTube with 360 made it arguably more accessible. Future developments could arguably be re-looking at the augmented reality image tracking, and then potentially that could help expand the idea into educational settings where students could use posters and interactive scenes to learn through exploration. So overall, my project demonstrates how design, storytelling, and emerging technologies can work together to create something that's immersive and accessible, as well as educational. The project shows how digital design can be used to educate and engage, as well as inspire audiences as well. That's it. Thank you for watching.